Nancy, are you there? Who said that we should have some Dharma conversation. So this is really an opportunity for us to be mindful and also social and relational, and to offer us an opportunity to have a conversation with our colleagues. And the way we're going to structure it is we'll just have a very, very brief few words at the beginning, and then we'll go into breakout rooms. In the breakout rooms, we will ask people to sit for about 3 minutes together quietly, just to sit. And then for each person to take about 5 minutes to talk about how your spiritual life and your life in general have been affected during this period of COVID. And it's really a moment to be able to reflect on just how has it affected our spiritual orientation, our spiritual practice, and also our lives in general. And so for each person to take 5 minutes, the other two individuals in the breakout room will be audience, to be mindful, kind listeners. And after each one has shared, that's a period of about 3 minutes for meditation, 5 minutes for speaking. And take about another 7 minutes. Just how has it, been to share that and to reflect together? And maybe there's some further things that have come up in the course, but then to just have a free-flowing conversation for about 7 minutes.
How much time will people have together in the?
Altogether, it'll be 25 minutes in the breakout room. And then at the end, we'll regather and we'll just talk together as a larger group. So are there any questions about that?
Harvey, could you go through the timing again?
Yes.
So it's 3 minutes.
3 minutes for a conversation.
No, 3 minutes for sitting.
3 minutes for sitting. And then 5 minutes, each person take 5 minutes to talk about how has your spiritual life and your life in general been affected during this COVID period. And just to reflect, to be somewhat mindful in speaking, just to be mindful and present as to, as you're talking, just what is coming up, how are you feeling? What are you noticing in yourself? What are you noticing in your audience?
And if you wish, you can share what is coming up for you in the moment. As I say this, I feel this, or I remember this.
Yeah.
And later, people who have been listening to you may report back to you, well, when you said that, I felt this, like we normally do in conversation, but perhaps with a little more awareness on it.
And it actually can be very, very helpful if you even do touch in as you're talking and to notice how are you feeling in your body. I notice as I'm talking about this, I'm feeling constricted in my chest. I feel a tightness in my pectoral muscles. And, or as I just said that, I noticed a kind of a relaxation. If there's some noticeable things occurring, it's a useful way of grounding you into the present. Very, very helpful to every now and then check in with what's going on in your body and to be able to report that. It's a great practice of mindfulness in the moment.
And even if something comes up that you don't want to report, of course you don't have to, but you could still take a moment and say, there's something coming up right now. I just want to take a moment with it, or I'm not going to fully explore it, but I'm letting you know that there is something coming up. That sort of sharing is also possible.
Yeah, and don't share anything you don't feel comfortable sharing. And
anything that you do share, it's always an agreement when we go into these conversations that everything is confidential, of course, and that's very important.
So after the three people have each shared for 5 minutes, Then we have 3 minutes of meditation and then a
No,
general
No, no.
The 3 minutes of meditation first,
first.
then 5 minutes each in sharing
Uh-huh.
how has COVID affected me and my life currently. And then there'll be about 7 minutes to just have a free flowing conversation about how has it been to engage in this conversation and talk about it and reflect together. So 3 minutes meditation, 5 minutes for 3 people. If there happens to be a group of either 2 or 4, adjust your time accordingly. Anne and I will be in the groups as well. And Emily, can you give people a 60-second warning, or is that not something you can do? That we're going to end the breakout rooms?
When I close the rooms, it gives you a 60-second timer. Feel free to spend the entire 60 seconds staying in the room.
Great. Okay. So we can move into our breakout rooms. That'll take a few moments for Emily to set up, but
And James, you just heard all of the directions summed up just now. No, yeah.
so I'm going to move over to my computer and let the games begin.
Harvey, I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms. Can you make sure to accept the invitation on the broadcast computer?
You got it. I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you're watching from YouTube, we don't broadcast the exercise. It's going to take about 25 minutes. Please feel free, wherever you are at home, if you're watching with someone there, to try out the exercise. Jennifer? Jennifer, we're in an exercise right now. We are sharing how COVID has affected us. Everyone's talking for 5 minutes. If you accept the invitation to your breakout room, I've got partners for you there. Jennifer, do you want to join the exercise? It's just started.
Sure, I can join the exercise. Thank you.
Yeah, do you see the breakout room invite?
Good question. I see your private chat.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, wait, I see. This is new for me. Okay.
No worries. And they're just discussing how COVID has affected them. Oh.
Come here, baby. Can't hear anything.
Harvey, you've been muted. The Dawn Mountain broadcast computer.
You want to speak about it came out of your conversation and what that was like for you to have the conversation? Things that seemed common to several of you in the group or different. Did you have any suggestions for this part of the conversation?
Just if, people have any observations about how that was and how did they feel about engaging in that kind of conversation and just having an opportunity to reflect on their experience and spiritual life together, or anything you want to share about that, explore something more publicly. Don't share other people's conversations, just your own or observations. We're a small enough group, you can just raise your hand if you want.
Yeah, Louise.
Louise.
Well, we all did speak about just our increased awareness of death. I mean, it's just all around us. And of course, in our practice, we're always sort of aware of that. But it's, it's just very potent to have that, that awareness within our practice. It's very appropriate right now. And it seems like we all feel quite aware of that. I just want to say, I love these exchanges. I love these conversations. I wish they could be longer. That's the only thing.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
How does that impact you, Louise, if you'd care to say, this different kind of awareness of death in your practice and so
Wow.
on? How does that impact you?
It just, well, this is a funny phrase. I was just about to say, I feel like the practice is a lifeline for the moment of death. So that's a very funny.
That's very true.
But it really is. And
it's funny too, but it couldn't be truer. I love that phrase. The lifeline for the moment of death. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Lovely. It's a lovely phrase, actually.
Yeah, Nancy. If you were complete, Louise, were you complete with what you wanted to
Nancy,
say?
you're
Okay.
Kaisu made a t-shirt with something I said. It would not kill me to die. And
What?
I had no idea
It would
that,
not kill me to die.
yes,
What's the it? Go ahead.
It would not kill me to die.
Oh, that's what it said. It would not kill me to die.
Yes.
yes.
Ah, fantastic. These are like really epiphanies here. We have to keep track of them. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the epiphany. It was that Kaisu and I are friends and she's on another continent and I got to talk to her again. And then I also got to meet a wonderful third person and my heart is bigger. It's not just full. My heart is bigger from having gotten to do this. Thank you.
Wow. How does that feel? How do you recognize that bigness?
My chest hums.
Your chest hums.
Well, you were the inspiration for this experiment, Nancy. So
I needed it. Thank you very much for listening and meeting my little personal need with everybody doing that. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, an expanded heart is a big deal.
yeah.
It's very precious.
Anyone else? Something
What
to
else is
share,
going on?
say, comment?
Yeah, Jindati.
Dati?
Well, all we all seem to have a turn to our more intensified our practice and turned more into inward in many ways. And we are, all in some ways missing the vicinity of each other. That is, not coming from Zoom. And I find it, I found it really relieving just, to be able to talk to some people who are, trained to be empathetic. And I guess it's called Sangha. Yeah, it's really, I find it really helpful. And I don't have a whole lot of people to talk to who I would think, they would understand or would emphasize in a way, even if they would be trying. I think it might be hard. So it's really helpful. And I also would like it to be longer, actually.
I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
That's so nice, Jindati. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Something to share?
Yeah, James.
James?
I forgot to mention this earlier, but I was reflecting. I think, Anne, you wrote an article a couple of years ago, and in it somewhere you said like a yogi in a cave would never be alone, feel as alone as someone who moved to a new city for the first time and didn't have any friends or something along that order. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting you.
Almost word perfect, actually.
And I was just, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I was reflecting on the fact that, I at least myself, I have a lot of trouble just being in my house alone all the time. And it's weird for me, but it highlights like what a special mind or a special training those have that can sit in a tiny little cave where you can barely stand up, or sit in a box where you can only sit in the lotus position and just kind of be with your practice like that. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, it's just we in the modern life have a very, very different habits, and it's not an easy thing to be in, like there's an interview on YouTube with a lama who had been meditating in a cave for just years and years, and he actually accepted like a video interview with somebody and he found it very auspicious. But like for someone to remain in that level of isolation and come out with this like perfect clarity of mind is very special.
Yeah,
It's
so it's a lovely concluding observation in terms of what an internalized sense of connection might be, as opposed to what a lot of us feel in our culture, a certain kind of aloneness, even when we're with other people. So I think it's worthy of a lot of consideration and contemplation. So we did do this as an experiment, and we did set it up for 45-minute period. It looks like people really appreciated this, so we're taking that all in.
Any other feedback that you'd like to share with us, please do.
You can write us
by email, Anne at Dawn Mountain or Harvey at Dawn Mountain. Do you get that? Yeah.
So
we'd actually like to know.
Just by way of habit, we did do some virtuous activity together. Let's dedicate it, and we'll call it a day for now.
And thank you for being part of it.
Thank you for the experiment, participating in the experiment. By this good, may I
swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. If you like, you can unmute and say hi and bye. Nice
you.
to see you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
all.
coming.
Thank you.
See you
everyone.
Tuesday.
Thank
See you
you.
Sunday.
Be safe.
Take good
Thank you,
care.
Harvey and Anne.
Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Stay well.
Great to see you all. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Harvey
Bye-bye.
and everyone else.
Thank